being here, and we should be starting in a while.
Very good morning to everyone. I'm Neha from Water Digest and welcome you all in today's online dialogue, which is on groundwater governance in India, role of industry and government, challenges and way forward. And our focus state of today's webinar dialogue series is Maharashtra. It's an initiative to highlight and discuss the need for smart and sustainable groundwater management, be it in industrial, commercial and agriculture sector. And for this webinar series, our tech partner is Kritsnam Technologies Private Limited. Before we move forward, I would like to invite everyone like Dr. Vijay Pakmore, Joint Director, Groundwater Surveys and Development Agency, Maharashtra. Shri N. Vardharaj, Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Nagpur, Maharashtra. Dr. Y. B. Sontake, Director, Water, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Shri Vinay Chakraju, Co-Founder, Kritsnam Technologies. Shri S. K. Chaurasia, Chief Executive, Aditi Infotech. Shri Satish Shetty Anna, President, Taloja Industries Association. And Ms. Anupama Madhok Sood, Director and Editor, Water Digest. Over to you, ma'am. I would like to invite Ms. Anupama Madhok Sood for her opening address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Neha. A very good morning, everyone. Special thanks to all the panelists for taking out time and being here for this important dialogue, which has been specifically planned on groundwater governance in India, role of government and industry, as Neha has just mentioned, and this is the Maharashtra chapter. So before I talk about the overall plan of this program and what are we expecting out of this, who all are participating in that, I would like to share that, Water Digest have been doing a series of programs. I'm sure most of you are attendees, are also regular ones who have been joining us for various programs. So we've been doing various series, giving a push and an impetus from our side to these schemes which are being floated by government. So like we also did rainwater harvesting campaign, we did rainwater, a series of training programs on rainwater harvesting. Then just to give us an impetus to Amrit 2, we also did grey water management, series of training programs for grey water management for schools, colleges, RWAs in Delhi through this online, support. And today, very recently, we started the series of groundwater governance in India. We thought, groundwater resources, which is one of the most important resources, invisible, but then, of course, needs a lot of attention from all of us. So, in association with Kristen's Technologies, thank you, Vinayji, for supporting this initiative. We started the series, and there are almost 7 to 8 chapters which have been planned under the series. We have already conducted five such chapters, be it Rajasthan, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, and now we are here today for Maharashtra, hoping to do Odisha, Uttarakhand, and Haryana in the coming days as well. So, all the participants, just in case you miss on something with regards to the technologies, with regards to the regulations, you can always listen to the forthcoming seminars and webinars as well. Now, specifically talking about Maharashtra, yes, it's a pleasure and an honor to be associated and do something for Maharashtra. We have our campaign called Swachh Jal Maharashtra, Maharashtra state. For that also we have done almost three in series which were supported by Maharashtra Water Regulatory Authority as well. And we are glad we also have with us Mr. Sontake, who had been great who had been with us for our various programs in the past as well. And we have eminent speaker, a blend of policy maker, technology provider, implementers. Once again, thanks. Neha has already introduced the panel. However, from my side, I would like to quickly introduce. I would like to say that we have Dr. Vijay Mahmood, Joint Director, Groundwater Surveys and Development Authority, Maharashtra, with us, who can give us the status of the data, the way information is being disseminated. We also have with us Mr. Varadaraj, Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Nagpur. We have with us Mr. Sontake, who is Director, Water Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, Vinay Chaturji, who is a co-founder, Crystal Technologies, and bringing up some new technologies which will further help facilitate the groundwater management. We have with us Shri S.K. Charasya ji, Chief Executive Aditya Infotech, Satish Sethi, President, Taloja Industries Association. So thank you, all the panelists. We'll be starting as a panel discussion where we'll be asking you a few questions. And now, just before starting this program, giving a quick background of the water sector, what are the key challenges? Most of us are of water industry, and we are well aware that there are some key challenges of the water sector. We talk about any of the cities. Urbanization is putting a lot of pressure on our water resources. Industrialization again adding to it. Maharashtra, one state which is considered as one of the most industrialized states in India. So, of course, availability of water is another challenge. We've been seeing a declining trend of water availability, something which was 2,177 meter cube way back in 1950 has reduced to 1545 meter cube in 2011 and is much lower today. So anything which is below 1700 is water stressed, and going further 1000 to 1000 it will make a water scarce situation. So the need of the hour is to protect our available water resources, that we're thinking that we have ample surface water resources, but unfortunately most of our river water basins are either blocked or in the process of getting closed. Then we kind of shifted our focus that let's move on to the groundwater resources, but there also the conditions are not very promising and the situation is quite alarming. If I refer to the report of Central Groundwater Board 2017, wherein almost 6,881 blocks were assessed, out of them 17.2% of the blocks were overexploited. And the situation is same. We talk about any of the metro city, Delhi, Gurgaon, most of the places we see overexploitation of groundwater as well. Talking specifically about Maharashtra, we do have an act which is acted to further facilitate and ensure sustainable, equitable, and adequate supply of groundwater of prescribed quality for various category of users through supply and demand management measures, protecting public drinking water sources. But what is the actual on-ground status of the same? If I quote from the National Compilation on Dynamic Groundwater Resources of India 2022, a report by Ministry, we see that out of 353 assessment units, Talikas, Maharashtra, 2% units have been categorized as overexploited, 1.98% units are critical, 17.56% units as semi-critical, and remaining safe. Still, I'll say, as though there is some positive as well, we see as compared to 2020 assessment, the annual groundwater recharge in 2022 has increased from 32.01 to 32.28 BCM, though not not a very high figure, but then still there is a positive changes. The marginal increase is also there in recharge, which is due to, I'm sure, the lot of interventions which state government has already implemented. So the best is to know from the policymakers, to know from the people who belong to Maharashtra and who have been contributing in conserving water and floating the right kind of policies. So without further ado, I would like to now invite Dr. Vijay Akmorji, Joint Director, Groundwater Surveys and Development Authority, Maharashtra, to share your address and also give us a picture that how what kind of surveys and things have been done, initiatives have been done by Groundwater Surveys and Development Agency, and what is the kind of overall process that you have for data dissemination, be it the policy, and if any such policy exists, what are the kind of features of this specific policy? Over to you, Dr. Vijay.
Good morning, all, and thank you very much, madam. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, in this program, our Honorable Commissioner Chintamani Joshi sir was expected, but since he has to go to Mumbai for urgent meeting, he asked me to call your organizers. And therefore, yesterday, Neha madam asked me to whether you can speak for 5 minutes or like that. So that's why I do not have any formal presentation or speech for this program, but I can share a few things with you as a joint director in the Groundwater Survey and next to Chintamani Joshi sir. So we all know the water is very important, and we also aware that in the total groundwater scenario, how much groundwater is important. There is a difference in groundwater and surface water, because in surface water you can measure how much surface water is available, but in groundwater that is not the case. It is the hidden resource, and particularly this program is related with Maharashtra. So in case of Maharashtra, from groundwater point of view, the situation is not very good condition. Means, for example, for occurrence of groundwater, you need three parameters. Three parameters are essentials. First thing, you need a rainfall. So rainfall is the important factor, because it is the basic source for the surface water and groundwater. So in Maharashtra, there are about four zones, different zones on the basis of 100 years rainfall data. That in the Konkan area, we are getting the extra rainfall, about 4,000 millimeters. But next to Konkan, there is Pune, Ahmednagar districts like that. That patch is getting very less rainfall, 600 to 800 millimeter. And in the Marathwada region, we are also getting very less rainfall. And in the eastern Vidarbha area, we are getting assured rainfall. We call it as assured rainfall, 1,000 millimeters. So in the Maharashtra, on the basis of 100 years, there are four zones. And whatever rainfall is expected, that is also, you cannot claim that, or you are not sure that you are going to get this much rainfall this year or not. Second thing is topography is very important. So topography, when there is a flat topography, water rainfall occurs there, it gets the more time to recharge in the ground. But in case of Maharashtra, it is undulating topography, and whatever the rainfall occurrence is there, so it start traveling towards the low-lying areas. So for the arresting that, we construct various water conservation measures and water recharging measures, but they are not very sufficient to arrest that much of the runoff. Third thing, important thing is geology. So this is the most important thing, I think, because in Maharashtra, in case of Maharashtra, the 82% of the area, 81.5% of the area is covered by Deccan basalt, and it is considered as a hard rock. Secondly, 10.5% of the area is covered by the metamorphic rock, means total 92% of the area is covered by hard rock. So in the hard rock, you all know that there is a very less porosity and permeability, which are the basically required characteristics for the any rock formation to become a aquifer. So to become the aquifer, the pores should be there and the pores should be interconnected with each other. So in case of Maharashtra, that primary porosity is not there, and whatever there is the secondary porosity due to fractures and faults. So whatever water is occurring as a groundwater in the ground is a very limited and finite resource. That is the important thing we should understand, all understand. And therefore, whatever groundwater is available with us uh, is very very important. Secondly, in case as the hard rocks are there, as you go deeper and deeper, so there are very less chances to get the groundwater. So whatever rainfall is there, whatever groundwater is available in the state is basically in the shallow aquifer, that is up to 20 meters from the ground level, and that is replenishable on the basis of every year's rainfall. So if we uh, uh, devise such mechanism that we should be we can manage our requirements within the water whichever is available every year, so that will be a sustainable system. Now coming to the madam has just told the groundwater assessment figures. To find out the what is the condition of the groundwater in the state, we conduct the groundwater assessment as per the guidelines of the central government, that is GEC 2015. And according to the as per the latest groundwater assessment, only 2% area are in overexploited. 4% area is under in overexploited, and 2% area is critical area. If you compare these figures with the other states like Rajasthan or Gujarat, so or Haryana, Punjab, so these are much better figures. But we should not be happy with this because um, um, this assessment, if you see, today's topic is related with the industries. If you see, the draft by the industry is very, very less. And we believe that whatever the draft in the it is about 0.0034 BCM. That is coming on to 0.0242%. So we believe that this draft must be much more. And for that purpose, the many industrial people who are sitting there, they have to, because presently CGWE WA is giving the NOC for extraction of the groundwater from their water sources. So for this assessment, we approach CGWB to get the data, but from their data also, these are the figures. It means it clearly shows that the industries which are required to take the NOC from CGWB have not approached to CGWB, or there may be some issues like that. So for the governance of this groundwater, there is an Environment Protection Act, and on the basis of Environmental Protection Act, National Green Tribunal instructed CGWA to formulate the guidelines, and accordingly the guidelines were published by CGWA in 2020, September 2020. And according to these guidelines, there are many provisions for the industry purpose that in the overexploited blocks, no new industry will be given the NOC to withdraw the groundwater. Secondly, if wish to expand their activities, then it is also not allowed in the overexploited area, except they are MSME. And in case of overexploited area, no new package water industries will be given NOC. That is also the policy. And for getting the no objection certificate from the CGWA, the condition is that the local government, that is the Gram Panchayat or corporation, there should be certificate that they are not able to provide the required water to this industry, and that's why groundwater is required. That is required, and the industry should give the affidavit like that they will adopt the latest water efficient technologies. Secondly, if they are extracting more than 100 cubic meter cube per day, they are required to take an annual water audit the construction of observation well and piezometer is compulsory, and industry is required to adopt the rooftop rainwater harvesting in the project area. Then injection of treated and untreated wastewater into the aquifer system is prohibited. All these things are there. And secondly, the industry is in the safe, semi-critical and critical area, means excluding the overexploited area. They will have to pay the groundwater abstraction charges as per the guidelines. The charges are mentioned in the guidelines. And the industries existing in the overexploited area, they have to pay the groundwater restoration charges. The details of charges is given in the guidelines. So all these provisions are made only to govern the groundwater from the for these are the guidelines which I have told for industry. So the point was that every industry in the Maharashtra is required to take the NOC from CGWA. But while conducting the groundwater assessment, we approach CGWA or CGWB, and we have got very less data. It means it clearly shows that the industry is not aware of these provisions or these guidelines. Basically, I would like to inform the industrial people that there is a very huge penalty for every defaulter. In this guideline, it is mentioned, and no relaxation will be given after certain time. I think that time period is also over now. So the thing is that today's topic is that the governance means some issues maybe at the government level that Varaj sir will can tell more better. Because recently I visited the CGWA headquarters New Delhi, and I met the chairman also, chairman sir, and he told that we are taking the press conference and public issuing the notices on the websites and like that. But I feel that industries are not very aware of these things. And I think Sontakke sir is from the Pollution Control Board. So in one of the meeting in the Delhi, it was decided that for example, Bureau of Standards, Bureau of India, that while issuing the ISI mark, they should make aware the industry that you have to take the NOC from CGWA also. And the Pollution Control Board is also made aware that when you are giving the industry that regarding pollution certificate, so you have to make them aware that this groundwater extraction NOC has to be taken from CGWA. So some coordination is, I think, lacking, or some issues may be there. So, and those industries who are aware regarding these guidelines, and even if they have now not approached CGWA, or they have approached CGWA, or still there are some issues. So we will like to know, personally, I will like to know what are the issues or what are the challenges, because as Madam have already said that in Maharashtra there is a Groundwater Act, but this, as per the guidelines, this act is not inconsistent with the NGT guidelines, and therefore we have decided to change our act, and therefore we are in a process of drafting a new act. And whatever the guidelines which are implemented in the state of Maharashtra or CGWA, in near future we will like to take this GSJ will like to take, or Maharashtra government will like to take this authority to state government, and therefore if whatever the difficulties which you are facing, if you can address it today, we can take it in the new act or new draft. So this is which I can share with you right now. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay. Though we'll be moving to our next speaker, who is Shri N. Varaj Ji, Regional Director, CGWB. But sir, before I come to you, a quick, query to Dr. Vijay. As I was just listening to you, sir, you said that CGWA is actually the main governing body, which is right also. So how do you see GSDA contributing in this overall, process of governance? I'll say, is there some long-term governance plan where GSDA is also part of it, or also second part, you spoke about the low awareness level for the industries as far as the NOCs are concerned. So any specific plans and programs with regards to awareness which are being run by GSDA as well?
Actually, CGWB is a central agency. GSD is a
Correct.
state agency.
Correct.
Both are central government and state government. Okay. So whatever the programs designed by the Ministry of Jal Shakti, they are implemented by the state agency. Means CGWB keep on telling us these are the new programs like Atal Bhujal Yojana, National Hydrology Project, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchay Yojana, and Master Plan for Artificial Recharge, Groundwater Resource Estimation, National Aquifer Management Mapping Program. So all these programs of CGWB are implemented. Many of the programs are implemented by the state government in partnership with the CGWB. So we are in the very code listening with the CGWB. We are every week we talk to each other, and there are a number of meetings with each other. Varadraj sir and we keep on meeting regularly. So whatever issues I have told, they are the issues they are also facing. They are also facing the problem of lacuna of staff and many other things like that. So right now, means for as per these guidelines, so we are required to give NOC to the bulk water transporters, means tankers. But how to manage that? That is also again an issue. So we keep on discussing, and therefore you can say that these are the challenges we both organizations are facing. So
And sir, what
basically,
about
I'm
the
interested.
awareness programs? What about the awareness programs, sir? When we say that there is still a lower awareness as far as industries are concerned in them for even for applying for the NOCs. So are there some specific?
Particularly this topic, madam, CGWA guidelines. These guidelines are basically implemented by CGWA, which is a part of CGWB. Okay, so it's a purely central government role, and they have yet not handed this authority to state government. So therefore, official correspondence is not possible to the industry or from on the behalf of, or even CGWA also not requested us or told us if you write to industries or like that. But on personal level or in the meeting we tell that Pollution Control Board or Bureau of India, such organization, if they are very closely connected with the industries, if through them message can be delivered to the industries, then it will be possible. In the Maharashtra government also there is a Department of Industry also, so they are trying to contact them also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
And now we move ahead to Vajraj sir, Regional Director, Central Groundwater Board, Nagpur. Thank you, sir, for being here, because it's very important, if such program is being planned, it's very important to know the on-ground situation. As you know that, still there are a lot of industry users who have not applied and have not taken NOCs. So what are the challenges you see that the industries are facing in compliance to the NOC guidelines? Also, what are the measures Maharashtra regional office is taking to speed up this NOC process so that we get 100% of such users registered under CGWA to take the NOCs and move ahead. Varadraj sir.
Good morning, everybody. I am Varadraj, Region Director, CR Region Nagpur. So it is my honor to welcome you all on this online dialogue on groundwater governance in India, role of government and industry with focus on Maharashtra. So most of the points is covered by our GSDA director, this one. So in this regarding Maharashtra, I want to highlight what I means. Stage of development is only 54.68% only as per the groundwater resource estimate 2022. So in ground resource estimate was carried in 2022 in 353 blocks. So in that on in the estimate on assessment, it is found that 62 blocks are semi-critical, 7 blocks are critical stage, 7 are under over-respected stage, 272 blocks are under safe category, 1 is under silent category. So again, if you see this stage of utilization only 54, that is scope to utilize water up to 70%. So as per this resource estimate. So again, this resource estimate also we are trying to improve this resource estimate by we are planning for 13,000 DWR throughout the country, and in Maharashtra we are planning to install real-time DWRs in 1,269 this one over a period of 5 years. So we are planning to evolve management plan at village level. We want farmers himself to design water budgeting in his farm, and how to do supply side and demand side management, how to do it. So we want to create mass awareness also. We are planning in the next NACM 2 program. So this is one side. So regarding this, our this one, there are constraint in your issuing NOC. I understand, because as per new guidelines, all the new industries, existing new industries, mining projects, who are using exact agriculture, all are have to apply for NOC. Even government organization who are using groundwater, they have to also apply for NOC. So if in case of an housing society, if it is in Mumbai itself, it is more than 2 lakhs housing society are there. They have to apply. How to say, we have limited manpower, and how to, if so 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs application comes processing, it will be highly tedious and time consuming. So I don't know. So we are trying to working on this. So it may be in future. It may be just based on this. They will upload thing. So automatically it will issue NOC based on that. This one your so it will be created now up to 10 KLD. Based it will that NOC exemption will be generated automatically. They'll submit the affidavit, or they'll submit all the same based on. So like this. So automatically, so majority application they got exemption based on this. So for this also, so automation also they are thinking headquarter level. So we are changing the portal also. So there are so many lack now in the this one while processing the applications. So our headquarters working on this on this, and they are trying to. I think new software is developed, and they are on the under testing stage. So after this, I think most of the issues related to no cap will be resolved. This is one issue. Then next is Sir Joint Director Sir told in most 92% area is covered by hard rock, and limited sources is there. So this all this one. So but in this one issue, most of the block is safe. Okay, so it is only 30 to 50% only water is being utilized. So still there is a scope to utilize up to 70%. We can drill more than some, bring more area under irrigation. That is very good scope. So only thing, management part has to be done by farmers. So that awareness we have to create among farmers. We should encourage them to adopt drip irrigation. So we have to give incentive. We have to motivate them by giving incentive to adopt drip irrigation for sugar cane, then horticulture crops. So by this, so this then also we have to create mass awareness program. how to do water budgeting and optimize the water use. So this thing, mass awareness has to be created. Same way in urban areas also, mass awareness has to be created among housing society to install that treatment plant. Then to use the treated water for sewage and other for the toilet, for car washing, all these things. There is some mental block is there to use this treated water. So that has to be removed also. That is also one of the key issues. So this main thing, awareness program also has to be taken in massive level in next phase. So this is the thing this one. So we also have given one plot time 11 to 12. If there is any issues in no cap or any problem related to groundwater, people can come and interact with us. We can try to resolve the problems. So this is the thing we are doing. So then we are also taking so many collaboration project with other departments. Then with the foreign collaboration, try to carry out evolve some management plan. So all this also going on. Okay, madam. So any other question, any problems there? Everybody is welcome. They can raise and we will try to answer their queries as far as to our this one best extent. Yeah. Thank you, madam, for giving the opportunity.
थैंक यू वज्रराज सर। सर दो छोटा सा क्वेश्चन हमारी तरफ से। मतलब ऑफ कोर्स जो आप चीजें बता रहे हैं, लाइक मुंबई certainly is one of the largest city in terms of, I'm sure you're getting a lot of application from Mumbai itself, industrial hub. So sir, any specific plan for Mumbai? Because considering it is the largest city in Maharashtra and a lot of industries have their base there, so that they can apply and the process can be speed up as far as NOCs are concerned.
Madam, now up to now, we received only 9,000 application new cases. There are more than 2 lakhs industries are there in Maharashtra. So now, in spite of advertisement, all this thing, we have received only 9,000 applications only. And the renewal
So
cases
how many
are
have already been cleared? Like how many of them have already got? What could be the percentage if I can ask that?
so I'll tell madam. We received 9,367 application. So out of which 1,482 application were approved and NOC issued. 5,963 application got exempted under micro and small category with less than 10 KLD. 82 applications are in process of issuance of NOC. So another this 1,836 applications were rejected for non-compliance, non-submission of mandatory documents, and non-submission of required abstraction charges. In case of renewal of documents, 510 application we received, 338 has been approved. Then NOC issued and NOC issued. 47 projects were exempted as micro and small category. 49 applications are rejected due to non-submission of charges or non-compliance of this one, rules or this one. So this is a scenario. So we have issued more than 80,000 industries. We have issued some show cause notice. We have asked the collectors of we have given the list of industry who are not applied and asked each district collector to take action on them. So still, so we are receiving some application.
Is it true? I can see it in the chat box that many industries are not coming forward to take the NOC because of the penalty.
Pardon me, madam, you tell me again.
So somebody has written in the chat box that many industries are not coming forward to take the NOC because of the penalty.
Yes, madam, I think it's
It
true
is
only.
huge.
So,
They're writing it is huge. It is huge. They are writing. So they say that HCGWA need to rethink.
yes, madam. So I think this, this is the policy decision to be taken by our headquarter only. So they
Yes,
can
sir.
make a representation to our headquarters. So so I also think same thing. It is high only. Even our green tax also very high. So it comes in some industry. It comes in several lakhs, several crores also it's coming here. So but I think headquarters in future they look and will see it. So this is a policy decision to be taken at ministry level and headquarter level. So I cannot this one. I can only tell their problems to our headquarter. So if they represent, then we can take up the issue with so whatever application asking for exemption. This so I forward the applications. So they have to decide.
So I think for the industry players, the participants who are listening to Vajraj sir, if you have any issues, you should also kind of reach out to them, write to them, like you have mentioned it in this chat box. Had this program not been there, then in that case, I think the best is that you visit, you write, you send them emails, you talk to them that these are the issues, these are the challenges at your end, and this is what you feel that this gap can be bridged. So thank you, Madhuraj sir. And in case there are some questions from the participants, because they're mostly from the industries, so maybe we'll float it to you in the question answer session. So thank you so much. Moving on to Shri Satish Sethi, President, Taloja Industry Association. Sir, first of all, welcome to this dialogue. And I would like to know from you the industry perspective as far as the NOCs are concerned, the kind of, the regulations which are in place, and also if you you can share any of the case studies where you see that there had been reduction in the overall dependence on groundwater availability by the industries. So over to you, Satish ji.
Very good morning. My plead is there from the industry that in Taloja MIDC, we are totally 2,140 acres of land is there. We got around about 1,622 23 industries in totality. That as per MIDC circular, industries are not allowed to do borewell in the MIDC industrial area. If you're a non-MIDC area, then you can usually take permission from their central board for groundwater. As per concern with MIDC sent a circular that you cannot use their existing water supply. You cannot use the borewell in that particular area in Taloja MIDC. So it's a very big concern for us, even for sanitary requirement, basically sanitation requirement and everything. We are not able to use the water for tree plantation. Also, we require water. So we are always requesting MIDC that at least give us permission for borewell for at least basic requirements for cleaning and other things. That has not been taken care till now. They are just made very clear, loud and clear that you cannot use the groundwater. You cannot do dig borewell anywhere in Taloja MIDC as concerned.
It's a nice initiative and okay. In any case study wherein you've seen that earlier XYZ was the usage and then after this initiative the usage has come down or the dependence has come down. Any case study?
Madam, in Taloja, total MIDC supplying us 32 mld of water per day. That is per day. Okay. We have got a Taloja common effluent treatment plant which is of 27.5 mld. Existing CETP has got a load of 16.5 mld per day, which has been treated, and we use this water at the leave it at the creek. So what is our concern? At least borewell should be allowed at the industrial area at least. This full financial year from March to this February, hardly we were getting water. Every 15 days, 5-6 days, water was not there. Again, there was doing some remedial measures, and then ADC was able to supply. Looking at this present scenario, I feel groundwater digging should be allowed for at least for industrial, basic for tree plantation, cleaning, for sanitation purpose. At least for these three purposes, they should allow for all the industries. They should not have some special case that if you are using higher capacity only, but only for this particular activity, permission should be granted.
Okay. Anything you would like to say, Vardhan sir?
So they can make representation, no, madam, to our headquarters. So the committee will sit and they will consider is their grievances. Because this is all policy decision, it will be taken at very high level. So to change the policy decision, it has to be done at chairman level, ministry level. So they can give their representation on their grievance.
Okay, so thank you, Satish.
Madam, I will like to add one thing. In the guidelines on the page number 36, it is written that no objection certificate for drinking domestic use for workforce, green belt used by these new industries shall be permitted. As per the guidelines, whatever sir was telling is permitted. Even in the overexploited area, if your existing industry is in the overexploited area, and if the new industry is in the overexploited area, so if water is required for drinking or domestic purpose or for the green belt development, that is permitted as per the guidelines.
Okay, fine, great.
So Satish, maybe you can look into it again and go through the
We will take this as
guidelines.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Take this as an opportunity for us, and we'll inform our industries to apply and take permission accordingly.
At least go through them, the details which are already there floated by the government. So maybe go through them, read them through, and in case still there are challenges you face, then maybe you can reach concerned officials directly. That's also a route. Anyways, thank you so much. And moving ahead, I'll move to Dr. Vaidri Sontake, sir, Director, Water, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board. Sir, it's always a pleasure to have you on the panel and always, knowing more about the regulations part as far as the water sector is concerned. So, sir, what is your take on the legal extraction of groundwater? Also, what is your take on the overall groundwater regulations, the policy initiatives, and the intervention, the programs being run by Maharashtra Pollution Control Board to overcome the problems we talk about in the groundwater management?
Thank you, Anupamaji, for inviting me to this great forum, because nowadays everybody is asking for the groundwater, how to get us the permission, because all the industries are not located in the MIDC areas. Majority of the industries in Maharashtra are spread across the state, and there is no source of the water, because particularly in the MIDC areas, no doubt about it, the major industries are located in the MIDCs. So they don't have any threat that they will not get the water, because MIDC is taking care of it, because they have planned at least they will get up to 2050, they can get the enough water, surface water. So another issue is that the industries, those who are located outside the MIDC areas, they are facing so many problems, because what GSDA Pakmode sir have told, as Varadraj sir also have told, that there is a depletion in the groundwater. That is the major problem with us, because water availability may not be continued as what we are getting today. So, and we are well aware that out of total 100% of the water, 90%, 97% of the water in the ocean, and hardly available water is the 3%. So that is the major problem with us. So we have to think that how to cope up the requirement of the water from these oceans. That is also need, because Singapore like cities, they are also getting their water from the sea only. So because we could not dependent and remain dependent on the surface water, as we are aware that all the rivers in Maharashtra are non-perennial. They are not flowing throughout the year. Hardly 6 months they have the water, and after 6 months they doesn't have any water. So that is the another problem. And if the water is there in the riverbed, it can be a reason for the recharging. So coming to the industrial part, the industries are hardly using the 6 to 7% of the total water, including all type of the industries. And the 80% of the water is being used by the agriculture sector, that we are well aware of it, and hardly 1% is used for the domestic drinking purposes. So we are concentrating now, because what discussions are going on just for the 7 to 8%. are not thinking that how to recharge what water we are using for the irrigation, how we can minimize the use of water in the irrigation where the 80% of the water is being used. Another part is that the water we are losing when the water is stored in the surface resources. So because of the evaporation, we are losing the water. So what are the new technologies we can bring in that can conserve the water? So this type of the issues we need to have some brainstorming sessions for the next time. That is the one of my suggestion. Another part is that the water we are using, there are so many regulations we have made from our end, that infrastructure projects like building and construction side or the malls, they are made mandatory that 60% of the water they should recycle, and hardly 40% we are allowing them to discharge to the nearby sewer line. So 60% conservation is there. Also, we have introduced the new concept that ZLD, zero liquid discharge. Through that, the entire quantum of the effluent what they generate from their processes will be, that water will be recycled back for the process. So these type of the concepts. Another part is the, in case of the infrastructure projects, so we are making them mandatory that recharging of the groundwater, means whatever may be the water they are receiving during the rains, that has to be collected properly and it has to be recharged to the ground. So that specific mechanism, that groundwater well has to be, means proper recharging well has to be made. So these are the mandates are already in place, because central government is also very serious about it. They have made the national water policy in the 2012, and state government is also very serious about it, and they have made the Jala Niti, that is the policy for the water in the state, on the 5th September 2019. And GSDA is also working very hard on that issue, that how to conserve the maximum water and how it can be made available to the people to get their needs. It is very clear that we could not construct the future dams in this state, because already we are saturated with the what are the available resources to tap, that dams already we have constructed. So in future it is very difficult for us to construct the new dams. So that's why what water available with us, that has to be regulated in such a way that it has to be, means the supply and demand position should be made through that. So that is the challenge before us. That's why so many policies they have already introduced, and we are also making a lot of awareness among the people through the World Environment Day. Then we are also giving the some Vasundhara awards through the Environment Department, Government of Maharashtra, and state government is also very much aware about it, that in future, if suppose we won't get the extra water, then how to cope up the need of the industries, because we could not shut down the industries because of the not availability of the water. We have to have some new technology by which we can. So there is one best technology, because we are talking about the 6 to 7% water usage. We have to think in case of the agriculture purposes, what type of the crop pattern should be, because there are so many crops which are taking the maximum transpiration rate. Transpiration means what are the plants, they are evaporate much of the water. So these type of the crops, how we can minimize that crop pattern, or that crop pattern can be altered by the some of the other crops which requires the minimum water. So these type of the changes will automatically come, like WhatsApp, because nobody have taught anybody that how to use the WhatsApp. But the person, illiterate person, also can take the photographs, speak on it, and send the what message he wanted to convey to the others. So like that, need-based solution will come. But prior to that, the scientists have major challenge, that how to generate the more resources by which we can really say the society that yes, you don't have to worry for the future needs of the water. We are ready to take that challenge, and we will develop the new resources, and through that new resources, definitely our water need will be compliant. So this is the one area. Another area is that what regulations central groundwater CGWA have brought in, that is okay, because we don't have any problem, because when need-based solution required to be implemented, that time some sure actions needs to be taken, because these are the actions. One side is the action, another side is the development of the new resources. Third part is the recycling of the water in case of the infrastructure, in case of the urban local bodies, particularly in the cities. Major towns are coming up by constructing the new building. So we have already made that mandate that they should recycle the at least 60% in case of the 20,000 plus square meter buildings. So these are the new avenues, new regulations we have already brought in, and we are putting them in our regulation. Another part, since from the 2020, when the that first policy in connection with the groundwater regulation was come up, is brought by the Jal Shakti Mantralaya, and CGWA is the authority who is regulating that. So since from the 2020, we have not allowed industries to abstract the water until unless they have the permission from the CGWA. So these are the regulations we are implementing, but it has a limitations. It has a limitations. If suppose one gram panchayat, the smaller town, he is taking the water and nearby one industry is there, so they are supplying water to them. So how to bring this type of the issues in the regulation? Because Gram Panchayat is already exempted from the rule. Rule is saying that the water, drinking water sources, then defense ministries. So these are the specific areas where the CGWA is not made applicable. It is made applicable only 10 meter cube plus water uses industries, and smaller industries, tiny industries are exempted from it. That is a good way. But another problem we are facing, in case of the smaller villages where the very clean water supply is not available, in that case they are abstracting the water and supplying through the chilled water jar. So this is the one of the gray area. In case of the smaller towns or the even big towns, the marriages or the any other functions where water is required, there is no enough available source from the local body. In that case, the peoples are dependent on that cool water, 20-liter water jar or the higher capacity, and that is the being used by the nowadays. So these type of the units, roughly around 150 units were there in Maharashtra, we have closed down. So that is the closing the unit is not the solution, because we have asked the local body that those who are abstracting the water, and that is done in response to the one honorable NGT order. These type of the actions we need to take, but at the same time, does we are able to supply the clean water to the all citizens of the state? The answer is no. Why? We are well aware that there is no enough sources of the water. And what are the available sources? These are also contaminated by one or other reasons. All cities are discharging their water in the river. That river is also getting polluted because river doesn't have any ecological flow. If ecological flow is there, definitely water can be purified itself. But if suppose there is no ecological flow available in the rivers, definitely that river has only treated or untreated sewage. So this is the situation overall in state of the Maharashtra. And we are taking much of the cautions that the industries should treat their effluent, and up to the 98% of the industries are treating their water to the required standards. So this is the end of 200, roughly around 250 odd industrial estates are here constructed, developed by the MIDC. These are supplied by the clean waters, clean surface water, so they doesn't require any kind of the permission from the CGWA, and 80% of the major industries are located in the MIDCs. So hardly 20% of the industries are required to take the permission from the CGWA for abstraction of the groundwater. So this is the overall situation. Just addressing to the issues of the common man, it is very difficult to say that abstracting water for the drinking purposes by the some industries, that is those who are supplying water to the through the chilled water, through the chilled cooled that is the 20-liter jars. So this question is still unanswered. We are just finding the how to regulate them. That is the problem. And another part is that in connection with the environmental laws, we are regulating that how much water can be conserved, and we are doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sontake sir. I do have a query for you, which I will be floating in a while. But as you mentioned about technology, and we are glad to have Vinay Chazarji, who is the co-founder of Crystal Technologies. So again, one of the areas which needs a lot of push And you have also mentioned he comes from the researcher background, here from IIT Kanpur, and is now working in building up advanced technologies to help water users become water custodians. So I would like to ask Vinay ji, how do you think the technology can help the users and at the same time policymakers, both when it comes to groundwater management? Do you think we need to achieve a data-driven groundwater management in our country, or are we on the right track? How can Kristen further strengthen this art?
Thank you, Anupama ji, for this wonderful session. It was very pleased to listen to all the eminent speakers, so with a lot of experience in the same industry. I have a small presentation. I'm just sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, Anupama ji?
Yes, Vinay ji. Yes, please.
Great. Yeah. So like you rightly said, so that is there a need for technology intervention in the groundwater management? Let me give a small example. So coming from an IIT background, so most of our batchmates work for organizations like Google, Meta, and so other multinational companies who have very large scale deep tech technologies built within them. So when somebody is building a social media platform with so much technology embedded in it, how much technology penetration should go into a resource like water, which is a fundamental for the humanity survival? So this is what intrigued us, so into start Kritsnam, so how can we bring equally advanced technologies, which the big organizations like, so Facebook, Google, or even Indian companies like Ola, Oyo do a lot of data-driven management of, for all their products. So our intention is also to bring in a very similar scale of advanced technologies into the water ecosystem to ensure sustainable usage of water resources, because so having come from a research background, we clearly have seen what are the ground challenges, so what are the ground challenges and what is the future looks like. We have a fair understanding, and every eminent speaker here also understands, so if we continue in the same way, where are we likely to end up? Okay, so this is where Kritsnam has evolved. Just a quick background about us. So we evolved from IIT Kanpur Research and Innovation Center. We have an in-house R&D in the field of electronics, hydraulics, hydrology, hydrogeology, and data analytics. So what we understood was water is a very complex subject. So everybody, most of these the engineers in this space come from a civil engineering background and so water resources background. So a combination, as the technology is fast growing, so we now have access to a lot of new innovations and new technologies through which we can leverage the current problem statement and so can efficiently solve it. So we build a team of researchers from every possible department which runs through the water ecosystem, and then are building the organization. So we have been supported by the Government of India, from Technology Development Board, the Department of Science and Technology for Atal Bhujal Yojana, and some of the major recognitions we have been received for Jal Jeevan Mission Grand Challenge and Amrut 2.0 Innovation Challenge is what we have been winning. So, like every the other eminent speakers were mentioning, so and Sontake sir was also very clearly mentioned that so groundwater depletion is not just a concern; it is a risk for the businesses. See, at the end of the day, so the economy flourishes with the business. So though we have a good problem statements on the agricultural and drinking water supply for the day-to-day needs, but at the end of the day, so the economy as the country as a nation progresses with the business. That is what every businessman looks for, and we as a country have been in the encouraging of the businesses, but what are we doing to support them in terms of the necessities, so which is one of the fundamental necessities, the water. As per the reports, so 83% of the industries reported major risk of inadequate availability of water, and 62% of Indian businesses depend on water, groundwater source. Water has been in the top 10 risks of 2023 reported by the Eurasia Group. So this clearly shows that so there is not only so it's not a social. Of course, water is a social angle, but it is also a business risk which every Indian business should start looking at. So to make this happen, so we need a paradigm shift on the complete how businesses look at the water. So of course, as a policy makers, water is our bread and butter. So everybody understand, think, and eat and drink about water. But how about the businesses? So the businesses have their own independent methodology of working. So they are in the sugar business, they are in the textile business. So they are into hospitals. Water is not their primary bread and butter, or so they don't have in-house expertise to make it happen. But water rising water risk is changing how they operate. So this requires a complete paradigm shift on how businesses look at water, think on water. So necessities of the water has to be completely changed in this very rising risks on the water side. So this is a very simple example which I would like to bring out. Okay, if somebody feel that is this gaining weight? Okay, so we are gaining our weight. What is the first step we do as part of our weight loss? So suddenly we realize that okay, I'm growing my weight very much. So I need to reduce my weight. What is the first step in the weight loss journey? So of course, so to reduce the weight, we would need a good diet plan. We would need a good, so we need to hit the gym. We need to do a lot of exercises. But the most important part, the very first step in the weight loss journey is being weight conscious. Okay, so we need to have a weighing machine, and so in which we need to constantly look at our weight, ensure that so we keep a tap of so how am I growing. So yes, once we have a consciousness, once we build our active consciousness about your weight, that is when you will start thinking about so every time you eat something, then okay, so I'm weight conscious, so let me not eat it. I need to when there is a step of so do I need to take a escalator, or do I need to take a stairs? I need to say that okay, I'm weight conscious, let me take stairs. So these small steps do add a lot of value in their overall weight loss journey. So very similarly, the Indian businesses need to become water conscious. Okay. So far, the businesses have been not water conscious. So most of the businesses have been very less water conscious. There is a rising, or so in fact, this is a very right time for the businesses in India to start becoming water conscious. They need to see water in a different so lens. They need to see water as a one of their core element, so without which so the survival of so the business is at full risk. So how to become water conscious, so that's where, when it is evident that so there is a rising risk in the water, so and if it is evident that we need to become water conscious, I'll give so from our so 7 years of research, so we have come up with some not only technological interventions but also the social interventions, so how to change the behavioral patterns of the water users. So to become water conscious, the very first step, so for any the business owner, is to know your water footprint. Okay, so we usually there are three common sources for the various for the water. The first one is so you have people have been mentioning, so MIDC has their own water supply. So MIDC usually is to give at their own pace. So like how Satish sir was mentioning, there are irregularities in the municipal supply, because it's a complete infrastructure which is being so supporting based on the availability of water. Okay, so there is a source of municipal or so the Industrial Development Corporation water supply which is coming, and the second source is of course the groundwater source, and third source is so we buy externally when both of them are not available, using tankers or whatever. So we need to clearly classify what are your water sources, and you need to start monitoring what is your exact water consumption from each of these different sources. Okay, so it could be even sometimes so the reuse of the water use coming from the water from the treatment plants. So having a clear understanding of what is your total water footprint. Today my water consumption is 15 KLD. Tomorrow my water consumption is 18 KLD. Every day we need to have a few seconds we need to look at what is my total water footprint. My so as per the process, our estimation should be around 15 KL. Okay, so if we are crossing the limit even by let's say 1 KL, so we need to have an alert. Like how if we are in our weight loss journey, we check our weight every day and say that okay, so how am I from today? How am I from yesterday? How am I from day before yesterday? We look at so 100 grams in our whole weight loss journey. The very similar process is on the water footprint. So our water footprint is 15 KL. How can I make 14.9, 14.8, 14.7? That organic reduction is what we need to target, and not how do we make from 15 to 10. So that's a very big jump, so we need to take the baby steps on a day-to-day basis to have a more consciousness on the water. And is the internal budgeting, so this is again specifically for the businesses who are more responsive. Okay, so like how it's a very similar process to how we departments, so my sales consume X percentage, my marketing consumes X percentage, my operations consume, my production consume Y percentage. So how we give the budgeting of the accounts, so out of my daily budget plan, we need to have a budget, water budgeting for the internal processes. It could be process 1, 2, 3. It could be even the green belt. It could be even the domestic usage. There has to be some budgeting for each water, each consumption point within the premises, through which, so we should be able to constantly feed the respective in charge, so again at a management level, if we see what is your water footprint and don't pass on this information to the end consumer, then it is of less, so it is of less value. So we need to continuously feed this information to the water consumers at every point, to say that, okay, so your target for a green belt is, let's say, 5 KL yesterday, but you have actually used, let's say, 4.5 KL, or so you have actually used 7 KL. So this continuous feeding of this information through a very common so sources like, so SMS, WhatsApp is what make their habits changed. Okay, so this is our internal water budgeting, is our step to in the water consciousness. And third step is benchmarking with the peers. So as a textile industry, it cannot be compared with, let's say, food processing industry. We need to only compare this to the textile to textile. We need to compare apples with apples. So there has been a water intensity ratio which was defined by SEBI, Security Exchanges Board of India. So how do we start comparing your water? How do you start comparing yourself with your other peers? We can have a more you can have a more independent discussions on so monthly water intensity ratio checking. So water intensity ratio is generally defined in so 5 ways. First one is water intensity per unit turnover. So if our turnover for the last month is, let's say, 5 crores, so and we have used, let's say, so 200 KL of water, what is my water required to produce 1 rupee of revenue for us? And per unit of production. So if we are in a textile business, so what is the water required to produce, let's say, 1 t-shirt? What is the water required to produce 1 pair of jeans? Okay, so that is how we need to check, so water, so intensity ratio. Or if you have more in the production volume in terms of, so if you produce 1 kg of, so grains, 1 kg of, let's say, coffee beans, so what is our water intensity ratio for 1 metric tons or liters, or, so even for the power, there is, in megawatt hour, there's a water intensity ratio defined. For more of infrastructure, so projects, so we can even look at the floor size. What is my water intensity ratio for my unit floor size? Or what is the water intensity ratio for the number of full-time employees working in the commercial complex? Or it's a hospital, or it's a college, or it's a school. So this is how we need to start defining the water intensity ratio and start comparing with the peers, saying that, okay, so if are we water efficient or not compared to the peers? So, and other in the over the period of last 7 years, we have interacted with more than few thousands of Indian businesses, where the cost of water usually is very much overlooked. They, when we say that, sir, what's your cost of the water? So they say that, so my water is almost free. So the CGW charges, of course, now it has been charging for the abstraction, but it is, so the cost is around average of 3 to 10 rupees per kiloliter. It is still comparatively on the lower side, with respect to the municipal water cost. But what is hidden and what is usually overlooked is how much time are you actually pumping? So we have seen few cases, specifically even in the Maharashtra state, where as the water level is going down, the amount of pumping you take 1,000 liters of water. So 5 years back, we used to spend 1 hour to fill my tank. Now we are actually producing 1.5 hours. So your pumping cost rose up by almost 50% in the last 5 years. And also similarly, the treatment. If we are not conscious on our water usage, the cost of the treatment keeps on going high. So as the inflation is going up, and the treatment costs, the materials cost, the maintenance cost is going high, and that's the indirect cost, so which usually is commonly overlooked by the businesses. And coming to the policy makers, so like how Vijay Pakmode sir was saying that so GST is coming up with their own internal policies for the which is in line with the CGWA guidelines. So as we are seeing, like, so the moment we have a lot of data coming from these users, what is my demand and what is my supply? So and Vadraj sir was also rightly saying that my requirement, so my overall water resource availability requirements data is also still in the evolving stage. So though there is a lot of research is going on this, still there is a lot of deep research which is required to actually calculate what is my demand and what is my supply, and have the policies more matching towards the demand and supply. So we have seen there are some, of course, there are numbers which are defined. Okay, what should be the cost if your usage is less than 200 KL, if your usage is between 200 to 1000 KL. So the science behind these numbers should be purely data driven. That is what the policymakers should leverage these data, which is either the water level data or the water abstraction data, has to be leveraged in the policy making, and it could be even made dynamic. Okay, so what is if we are like how Pakmode sir was saying that we have a good rainfall, suppose let's say this year, if we are blessed with a good rainfall, and if we are blessed with a good water availability for this year, we can extend that we can extend that leverage to the users by charging less in that particular year. But again, so next year, suppose, let's say if we have a very, so less rainfall, so again, God will, we don't get into that place. So if the stress is high, so the prices can also go up to reduce the dependency on the groundwater resources. So that way we can actually arrive at a good dynamic, policy making, which the policymakers can leverage if we do a little more detailed, so data-driven policy making side of it. So coming to our offering, so we have one of our offerings is a Dhara Live, which is a water consciousness platform, is what we offer, through which we send daily report on total water consumption in a simple platforms like WhatsApp, SMS, email, mobile applications, and web applications. Everybody can see their real-time consumption there, and we also report on how much is the pumping hours to see, so if how is your pumping time changing with seasons, so with years is what we can do. We can download the reports from the website for any internal or external reporting, including the reporting for the CGWA can be availed through our platform. We provide smart alerts if somebody is crossing their limits, not as so it is more as a caution. If any specific day, because of any emergency, we are using more, so we give them enough indication in terms of alert by saying that, okay, so you have crossed your limit, so and be more water conscious for the next few in the next few days or few weeks to cover up if there is any excess usage on specific day or specific days. To support the data in our water consciousness platform, we have a Dhara Smart Ultrasonic Water Flow Meter, which is a pure plug-and-play device, which is completely battery operated with minimum, which can run on batteries for 3 to 5 years. It has a complete seamless communication, which has inbuilt a dual SIM 2G and 4G telemetry, which is a certified device as per ISO 4064 from FCRI, which is a government-enabled laboratory. All-weather protection. So most of this installation happen in outdoor conditions. So it is an IP68 certified meter. It's a fully full bore meter, which does not have any pressure loss because it caters to ultrasonic transit time principle, and it is completely designed, developed, and manufactured in-house, designed and developed from IIT Kanpur, currently being manufactured in Hyderabad, so with the state-of-the-art facilities with us. Usually these are the two common instrumentation which people get confused with, for the groundwater collection, data collection. So one is the piezometer, which is a water level recorder, and the second one is the digital flow meter, which is the quantum of water being abstracted. So these are the two important parameters we need to monitor. So what we have seen by interacting with various policymakers also, water level monitoring has been very predominantly there, for the decades. So any groundwater department, state groundwater and CGWB is well versed with what is my water level. Okay, but what is slightly overlooked is also how much we are actually abstracting, which is so this is my reservoir and this is my usage. So this both data together has to be leveraged in a better decision making for both the users and also the policymakers for a more efficient groundwater management. Our contribution so far, we have been helping Indian organizations become water conscious. More than 700 Indian businesses we helped currently so far in becoming water conscious. The device is fully compliant with CGWA tamper-proof digital flow meter guidelines, and some of the premium customers whom we have been working with: Oberoi Hotels, Ultratech Cement, Tata Consultancy, Hindustan Unilever, Amar Raja Batteries, Castrol, Adani are some of premium customers, along with 7 business. This is usually how we look. So a very simple device, so which does not require any external power supply. Just have to cut the pipe and install the meter, and so the data, our Dhara Live platform, so constantly keeps sending the alerts with so without any so any data loss. So this is how, with a combination of hardware as well as the platform, so we help Indian businesses become more water conscious and drive forward for a more water conscious country. So yeah. Thank you very much. So if I can be reached at vinay@krishnam.com if anybody have any further queries.
Thank you, Vinay, for talking about the device and the way it can add and help the users to kind of gauge their footprints and further take necessary actions. So now we'll be coming to the last speaker of today's dialogue, Shri K. Chaurasiya ji, Chief Executive at Aditi Infotech. Sir, we would like to know what kind of support you've been providing to various proponents as far as the compliance to CGWA's guidelines are concerned, and what are your recommendations for both the project proponents as well as the policymakers, so that we can accelerate this compliance of the guidelines to say around 100% in future. Over to you, Chaurasiya ji.
Good afternoon, everyone. All the panelists present here, and similarly, all the industry representative and the CGW accredited consultants are present here. So this is very nice information, innovative information has been given by all the panelists here. And we would like to update you a few things that on behalf of the industry and some our accredited consultant, that some information we would like to share with you. First of all, we thank you for giving this opportunity to present here. And we have worked for various industries, hundreds of industries in the state of Maharashtra, and similarly Dadra Nagar Haveli, Silvassa, that is Union Territory. And some of the big industries like MNCs and corporates, they have the much information, better infrastructure, documents, other information related to CGW NOC, whereas the small, medium and cooperative, they don't have the such information. All the information documentations are the distorted they have. And similarly, there are our proponents. There are many various suggestions from the proponents and from our accredited consultant also regarding the CGWA website. So we would like to share here a few things, like every proponent and consultant requires user-friendly CGWA web portal, which is not available as on today. Because Regional Director Mr. Varadrajan sir is also here. So we would like to update that CGWA online portal crashes during filing of the NOC applications or renewal of the applications or the compliances. Similarly, online groundwater charges are vary from the calculated value by CGWB or CGWA, because the mail received from the CGWB is different, and when they calculate the online groundwater charges are the different. There is a difference. And next, madam. Similarly, in CGWA website portal, there is a second year self-compliance tab is missing, because it is a mandatory that when the CGWA NOC has been issued, so every year the proponent has to compliance. But the first year tab is always available, but when they go for the second year compliance, so that tab is missing, always missing, and every year it must be submitted through web portal. So this is another drawback in the website of the CGWA. Similarly, telemetry digital water flow meter specification is available, while for the digital water level recorder, they are not available in the CGWA portal. So this is another our suggestions to the CGWA. Similarly, exempted NOC do not contain telemetry term for the digital water flow meter, due to which many proponents are using mechanical meters till date. And this is the situation, as Mr. Vinay Raju sir explained. They don't have the how much water they are going to extract. So this information is not available, because once they have the telemetry flow meters, then they can get the SMS alerts and this is they can optimize the groundwater abstraction, and they can within this permissible limit they can extract the groundwater. This is another issue. Next. Yeah. So our because here the MPCB, GSDA, and CGWB all government of India, Maharashtra authorities are here. Our request that they have to on their website, in GSDA website, in MPCB website, they have to make aware that all the industry they should go for CGWA NOC. This website, this information is missing, and they should always mention. Similarly, many schools, big schools, colleges, universities, they are not going for the CGW NOCA because there is no letter going to them. And similarly, if the authority from the government of India, like TechIF or DST or UGC or AICT, if they mention that this is the compulsory to all the school, colleges, universities, then only the awareness program will be start between, among the schools, colleges, universities. Actually, our objective is to number of NOC should be increased within the state of Maharashtra, because Maharashtra has the, as Dr. YK Sontake has informed, that 80% of industry of the Maharashtra, that is within the MP, this within the MIDC areas, whereas 20% of the industry outside the MIDC area. But this 20% is also in lakhs, whereas the only thousands of NOC have been issued so far. So lakhs of industry still not apply for the NOC. So and due to EC. So here my colleague is also with me, Mr. Sachin Patil. He will also focus on some of the issues of the CGWA NOC. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Because we are discussing about CGWA portal and industries, we have worked for more than 100 infrastructure, industries, and mining projects. So what we are facing now is, after having NOC also, during compliances, we have issues related to website that sir has already told in this. And apart from that, whenever we move for any infrastructure project, so there are many infrastructure projects that are listed in CGW list, but they are not applying because in many government documentation or at many places they do not require this document to be submitted, and because of which they do not apply for CGW NOC. Otherwise, this number of NOC will increase, obviously. Then another point is, when people take exemption, they do not have to do any kind of compliances. So they do not worry about installing water meter also. They do not worry about keeping the logbook ready. So there is no proper watch on these kind of things. If these things improve, then water conservation can also take place properly. People will be aware with these things and they will be able to deal with these things more proficiently. Thank you.
And madam, the last one, suggestions to CGWB and CGWA, and because they should conduct the meeting with all the accredited consultants and institution to further any issues related to CGW NOC, and similarly the awareness program. So that this is my request to CGWB, Mr. Varadarajan sir. Yeah. Any question? Yeah. Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Thank you, Chaurasi and Patil Saab, for your suggestions and your quick points which you have highlighted. I'm sure they will further help CGWA to take necessary in case they feel fit. These are the fit suggestions. So anyways, now we are opening for the question answer sessions, and I request the participants to kindly raise your hand, and in case you have any query, you can directly speak to the experts. You may raise your hand and we'll unmute you. Okay. May I request, can you please unmute G. Ramkumar? Ramkumar ji, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah, please. Hello. Mr. Ramkumar, you can ask your query.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. My name is Ramkumar. Just to introduce myself, I'm an MPEC from IIT Madras with a specialization in hydraulics, and I've been retired executive director at Indian Oil Corporation. Presently, I am a member of IIT Madras Alumni Societal Impact Action Group, really on the branch of Mission Water. My experience has been on practical, eco-friendly rainwater harvesting for the last more than 25 years. The themes have been simple. India is utilizing only about 8% of the rainwater. There is abundant rain once you use the water. Next important point is the soil is the largest reservoir of water in the world. Soil contains 6 to 8 times the water than all the river basins put together. So the theme has been how do we harness rainwater, take it into the Mother Earth, by which all of the problems can be solved. In every industry or every plot I'm touching, I am giving simple solutions so that they become water positive models. Many examples. Recently, I'm in the city of Chennai, where Chennai needs only 1/3 of the rainfall, which the Chennai city.
Ramkumar sir, sorry, I interrupt here. Your point very well taken. Yes, rainwater harvesting will be definitely a solution. If you would like to ask something specifically with the panelists, please do that.
Yeah, I want to ask specifically. Now, many times what I find is, many people, when I suggest simple rainwater harvesting measures, surface water, they say we'll be going against the groundwater pollution. They don't even see my solution. Whereas surface water, recharge with the rainwater is one of the best methods of improving groundwater. Everybody immediately throws and says, here we are very strict with groundwater, we'll continue to throw the water outside. I want groundwater board give an emphasis. If required, I can have a session. This is one perception which I have to first deal with. And the greater use of, I recommend the use of with simple shallow aquifer recharge. This is where I want the help of the groundwater board to give incentive to people who do very efficient, simple rainwater harvesting. Instead, people tell me we are afraid it will pollute the ground. To convince them, it is very difficult. I want this.
Okay, Ramkumarji, thank you. Your suggestion very well taken. So maybe will like CCWA authorities, their people are there, and your point well taken. Okay, move ahead. Can we have next query? Mr. Suresh. Mr. Suresh. Can we unmute Mr. Suresh? Please. Please, बोलिए. हम आपको सुन नहीं पा रहे हैं. Your voice is very low.
Can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
I am Suresh Kulkarni in the Maharashtra Water Resources Regulatory Authority.
Kulkarni sir, please sir. Ji sir.
So first of all, congratulations Anupama madam for holding series of this type of webinars on groundwater, which is really neglected. Let me say this subject in India, but I am attending whatever possible. Now, coming to this stage, that I really listened to carefully to all the speakers from the government and from the from the institutions. I feel that we are talking the same thing again and again, but we need really something revolutionary kind of a thing in this. And I was very impressed with Vinay's presentation. That kind of technology really we need to introduce. And this in Maharashtra, we take pride of saying that Maharashtra is the only state in the country having the water regulatory authority and at the same time groundwater regulatory authority too. But since 9 years, the authority and GSD is struggling to trying to implement, and I am happy to know that at least the Joint Director said that they are now in the process of revising the Act. That is a good thing. But while revising, I think we should take care of the latest technology which are being presented and is available in India. That is one thing we should include. And other thing, there are many things I would love to really tell that regarding the groundwater estimation. We have been saying, and many people here from the CJWB and they have said that Maharashtra has ample of groundwater. Still, there is a scope of exploitation. Only see, I have been hearing this figure of 17 billion cubic meter of water is being used in groundwater used in Maharashtra since so many years. There is no change in that. And something like 95% water is used for irrigation and remaining for industry, very small quantity, etc., etc. I don't know what type of measurement we are doing when we say this. There is no measurement absolutely. So I think the first step towards the groundwater regulation, which is being done in many countries like Israel or Australia or France or Spain, is to measure the water. Without measuring water, you cannot govern the water. That's for sure. So that is the first important, and that should be included as a mandatory thing in the groundwater revised groundwater act. So, because I have been traveling in Maharashtra just last week only, I was in some of the districts, Marathwada. People don't know they don't have water in the summer season. When this is a paradoxical situation. On one hand, we see that Maharashtra has a lot of groundwater, and still we can exploit 50% of water. After February, our wells start drying. The rivers are drying, so there is no base flow. So how do you say? And only publishing the report on groundwater level doesn't help a common farmer. What I do with I want to know in my micro watershed or mini watershed whether how much water is available. That I am interested. So in future, we really need water availability, not the water levels. Water levels is okay. How much water is available for me? That will be very useful to the policymakers or the officers or the farmers. That is so that's important. Secondly, I always see some contradictory things. CGWA talks in terms of blocks. The GSDA talks in terms of water sets and mini water sets. So there is no uniformity in even mentioning that how much water, which water set are traced or exploited, etc., etc. So there is a contradictory reporting from the CGWA and Groundwater Authority, GSDA. And really, if you want to govern this, groundwater, which is a big challenge all over the world, people are working, Columbia University and Grace and many top institutions are working this. We need to have a very strong autonomous groundwater regulatory authority in each state. Because Maharashtra has, and really we want to strengthen this Maharashtra Water Regulatory Authority, the top scientists working there. Maybe in GSD, I'm not going to go in details who should do it, but we really need to strengthen this. There is no one there to understand the groundwater in the Maharashtra Water Regulatory Authority. So my request will be through you, to the state government, strengthen this, engage many people, maybe 50, 100, whatever you want to engage, so that you can bring in the latest technology information which is there, because our colleague from IIT Kanpur has said very good thing. Why not include those things, such things in our day-to-day activities? So each state has to, the central government, CGW should make it compulsory. And one of the issues is that they see water for agriculture, water for industry, and water for urban area. Urban area, there is a lot of this water tanker business is still going on. What is the regulation there we are doing there? Nothing. Maybe knowing that in Mumbai was not included in our Groundwater Act till last 2 years. There, Mumbai, one person, the tanker mafia has, there was a big case in the NGT, and he was to pay some 100 crores of penalty. So this type of things are happening, and this is very crucial that our water regulatory authorities are made strengthened and given a lot of authorities. Lastly, I wish that these responsibilities of water regulation, water is a state water subject. Water is a state subject. So it's a groundwater too. So why not to deliver all the responsibilities of groundwater regulation, like surface water regulation, to respect to state authorities? State central groundwater authority can guide, make a framework, etc., etc. They can definitely, they have a role to play. but they cannot intervene. They should not intervene directly on the control of NOC, etc., etc. The state water authority can give them the feedback. See, this is what is the situation. This is what is the statistic. They should keep abreast of what is happening in each state. They should not directly interact with them. So again, I'm saying that that's why we need to really strengthen these regulatory authorities. Unfortunately, they have become very weak. These authorities. That's what really I want to say. And the groundwater estimation, the borewell, etc. For example, in Maharashtra, I said that I'm traveling in the farmers' field. Maharashtra, we say there's some statistical state that there are 20 lakh wells. As a matter of fact, in each village, if for example there is 100 dug wells in a village, there are equal number of bore wells, even sometimes more. There are 200 bore wells. So far, we are considering the extraction from the bore wells. There is to be exact extraction methodology of the bore wells. Each well should be made to measure the water. And last question is pricing of water. Although we talk of conservation water, this and that lot, unless and until we develop a mechanism to pricing of water, price of water should be there. Government can give any amount of subsidy. It's not a problem. But there should be some pricing of water. Some incentives are required to pay, etc. So there are many things to talk, but because of shorter time, I don't want to continue take others' time also. So this is what. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Kulkarni sir. Please stay with us. And in case there are more queries, so we would also like to float them to you. Please stay with us, sir. And we also request you to kindly, switch on your camera if you can. Okay. So now there are a couple of queries which have come in the chat box also. So one query is by Mr. Sham: groundwater being exploited heavily by the construction sector. Someone elaborate whether the rate of recharge facilities optimum groundwater levels as well. Two things he is asking. He's talking about the extraction being done by construction sector, and can there be? Can you please talk about the rate of recharge facilities facilitates optimum groundwater level? Who would like to answer this? Then, would you like to say something with regards to the construction sector?
Madam, actually, as per the guidelines for the infrastructure project, also they have to take the NOC.
Okay.
CGWA NOC is required for the infrastructure project also.
Madam,
And I
also
could not understand.
all project, they have to install this water conservation this structures, and we give 50% rebate for this. Once they install, they give photograph all this, how much this one, we give 50% rebate, and we do the inspection also, this one, when they go for renewal and all. So they have to do, all the projects have to carry out this artificial recharge work also in their premises.
There's one more hand raise, Mr. Sunil. We unmute Mr. Sunil. Mr. Sunil? Okay. Anyways, please, Mr. Sunil, you can ask your query.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sunil
Please.
Gadan, the director of tech company Beacon Solutions. I have two questions to build in a strategy or an action plan to the central goal of Mantralaya of water conservation. I've been working on this precious resource water since 2017. I have a question. 6 to 7% of industrial consumption, 80% of irrigation consumption. Roughly, that is projected numbers by the stalwarts and our leaders in this forum. In order to build a strategy, do we have a database which prominently declares, as per these two categories, what are the number of borewells as on today or applied for fresh number of borewells required in these two segments? Number one. Second question is, okay, this NOC, no objection certificate allotment by the concerned authorities, a mandatory to industrial, commercial, and the construction segment, how it can go hand in hand, give the completion certificate of the industry or the commercial site? These are my two questions. I would be happy to get responded or reverted as of readiness. Thank you.
Good answer. Can we kind of share some data if it is available? What he is asking for?
So,
Is there
all industries, madam, whether industries they have to apply for NOC. Okay, so based on this quantum of withdrawal, rate is varying from semi-critical one rate as critical. It's varying. So it is given in the no cap portal clearly. So they have to apply and they have to pay make the payment and we will give the NOC. So this is thing. So everybody has to apply. There is no exemption for this. Only for MSNP which is who is using less than 10 KLD, they are exempted. Others they have to apply mandatorily. And even for exemption, also they have to apply and get the exemption. We are exempted, they cannot keep quiet. So they have to apply and get the exemption certificate through no cap portal.
Sir, I have one query and would like to ask you. So now we're talking about NOCs. That means we will be having data about the industries, how much abstraction is there, what kind of water they are, how much water are they withdrawing, and definitely you already have a database of the effluent discharge. So how does MPCB plans to kind of leverage on this data to both the side?
Basically, I have just briefed in initial talk also that all the industries came after the 2020. What is the date? That is the and if they are drawing the water more than 10 meter cube, we are not giving them the permission unless the CGWA NOC in place. So that we are already, because we are well aware that how much water they are using, and even we are asking them to recycle at max possible, because the government is already central government as well as the state government is also have the specific directive that water conservation should be there wherever it is possible.
Sir, I also read somebody has posted that not every industry is ZLD is not the solution for every industry. So what other options does Pollution Control Board suggest?
I have told you ZLD is the extreme requirement when there is no chance of the discharge, or if suppose they are discharging their treated effluent and there is no facility by which they can accommodate that water. In that case only we are saying that you go for the ZLD. Or in case of the any court order, particular court order, and that court order says that no expansion is permitted in this area, and the expansion is merely related with the effluent or the pollution. So if suppose the industry is not polluting, then we can permit them in that area. So ZLD is in extreme cases, not in the normal or usual cases. And definitely the ZLD is a costlier affair, because they require to treat that entire effluent, they require to recycle that through evaporation or through RO, and it takes the most of the energy, because carbon footprints also increasing because of that. So we are giving that ZLD condition only in extreme cases, not in the usual cases. Hardly, if we say percent wise, hardly in one area 200 industries are there, so hardly 10 to 15 industries are ZLD, and that is to the very smaller quantity.
Another query, is it mandatory to have CGWA NOC to get the CTO?
Yes, that is the mandatory, because I already briefed that if the industry is drawing water more than 10 meter cube, which has been already clarified by the CGWA, and the notification is also very clear about it, that every industry, when they are coming for the consent to operate, means after 2020, they are supposed to get the permission, and even for the earlier industries, they have to go for this process.
So Any more query from the industry side, we'll definitely unmute you, and please raise your hand. I request industry players, this is the forum where you can speak to them directly if you're not able to reach out the... Yes, sir. Please tell us, Seji.
Madam, I would like to stress on one point. Actually, when NOCs are less, there are many things to be done in this section. So we can request CGWB and CGWA to make the process more easy. If the process is easy, penalty and environmental compensation is less, only then more industries will be interested to join on this thing, and they will be going for CGW NOC. Otherwise, they will try to find some another different ways, bypass all these things, and they may continue easily.
So was that, sir, maybe another area where we look forward to your intervention?
Yes, madam. This is a policy decision to be taken at the headquarter level. So if they submit representation, I will forward to them and give my comments on this. So whoever have that this grievance, they can submit a representation directly to headquarter also directly, or through to me also. Then I will forward and request headquarter to look into this. So committee will sit and they will see what is what and give the judgment.
And so from our side, we would like to request that, more such awareness programs should also be floated for the industry so that, they understand the gaps, like if there are, as far as the NOC needs, how can they apply for it? What are their problems, their challenges? If there can be more awareness program, training programs for them. And of course, we can have people from all the sectors, be the technology providers and the industry association, who can put forward their challenges, and at the same time, people who are the best ones to answer their queries from the policymaker side.
Yes, madam, point is well taken. We will conduct more awareness program in future. Okay,
Yes,
and also we'll no, sir, in no cup portal all checklist guidance, all everything is given. Also consultants also there, and if required, they also visit our office. Our person will be guiding them if they find problem in applying the NOC or something. So and apart from this, we'll conduct awareness also. Like, so this is also one of the awareness program. I think this
yes,
also help them to understand the problems and how to apply. So this is like this. In future, we'll conduct the program. We will attend this kind of program also. So I'm also thankful to you, madam, for conducting this program, which is giving good awareness among all firms in Maharashtra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you on behalf of the entire team of Water Digest, and for taking out time and being here on this panel so that it can be interactive. There are queries, and at times, the only thing which we try to do is create a platform, facilitate this dialogue, interaction, and reach out to some answers if possibly we can. And we definitely would like to thank Princeton Technologies for this initiative and for being part of this initiative and the entire series. So all the participants, thank you so much for attending it. The program ends here, the dialogue ends here. However, the discussions continues. If you still have queries, you can write to us at info@thewaterdigest.com or correspondent@thewaterdigest.com, or you can also follow us, our social media. You can post your queries there also. Regularly, we are reading all the comments and trying to answer wherever possibly we can. We will be conducting another 2 chapters, 3 chapters, Odisha, Uttarakhand, and Haryana sooner in the coming days. So we look forward to your active participation. Thank you so much, Kulkarni sir, for joining us, and we are happy that you contributed with your query. We look forward to doing more awareness and bigger campaign like Swachh Jal Maharashtra with you in the near future. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Anukumaji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you.
Opportunity to request DSDA, Water Digest, Central CGWA to make at least one small report how much water the industries are using in Maharashtra. Because Maharashtra is a big industrial state in the country. at least how much groundwater, how much surface water is used by these 2 lakh industries. At least that basic data we should have. If we can really do something in this direction, that will be a great addition to our groundwater governance. Thank you.
Thank you.